Hi, this is Greg Shields, and I'm going to show you how to use Group Policy Preferences to configure Outlook fonts and themes. If you're in an organization where different people might be using different fonts or different themes for sending email, you know that sometimes, well, maybe not everybody's got the same creative bent as everyone else. Having a consistent experience in the email infrastructure across all your people in your organization really makes communication that much easier. And so enforcing certain fonts and certain themes can ensure that everyone has that same consistent experience. You'll see here in Outlook, I've taken a look at the Outlook options screen here by clicking on File and Options, and I'm taking a look at the Mail node. Down here under Stationery and Fonts, as you can see, is the location where I can adjust the theme and also the fonts for different types of email messages I may be working with. There are different themes that Outlook provides. If I click the list of themes here, you'll see I can choose one of the different themes that are available. Now, admittedly, not all of these are pretty. In fact, many of them are anything but. But if you have a certain theme that you might want to implement for the different users in your organization, this is the location where you would do so. Now, if I choose a theme here, this is going to select that theme for just this specific user. And as you well know, trying to tell users to select a theme probably means you're not going to get the response that you hoped for. What's probably preferable is to use something like Group Policy Preferences. Now, you'll see here I have the Group Policy Management Editor here. And I'm taking a look at a group policy object that I created called Configure Outlook 2010. Under User Configurations are Group Policy Preferences, and specifically a registry preference here that I'm going to need to create here in a second. And the problem with these registry settings is that trying to figure out exactly what the correct registry setting that you need to set can be sometimes very difficult. It depends on the application that you're trying to change. One of the ways that you can go about actually figuring out what those registry settings should be is with a little trick. Let's take a look here at the registry location where those settings are actually configured. This is in HK Current User, Software, Microsoft, Office, 14.0 for Outlook 2010, Common, and then Mail Settings. Now, I found this location because I've done a little bit of searching around the internet, and I've discovered that this is probably the location where these settings are being stored. You'll notice here I've got a couple of settings here for mark comments with. If I double click this, it says Greg Shields here in hexadecimal. But the other two settings are empty right now. What I want to do is actually set the theme for this specific user, meaning myself, and then use those settings in my Group Policy Preference. I'll start by going back to Outlook. Here back in Outlook, let's say I want to use the quadrant theme. I click OK to apply the quadrant theme, and it sets my font for new mail messages and for replying or forwarding. If I want to compose and read plain text messages, I can change the font here as well. Maybe instead of Calibri, I want, I don't know, Californian. If I choose OK and OK here again, and I go back to the registry editor, I hit F5 to refresh, you'll notice that some of the font information or some of the registry information here has actually changed. I now have under New Theme, I have Quad 011, and I have two reg binary settings here for Text Font Complex and Text Font Simple. Double-clicking either of these, and you can see that those hexadecimal values actually correspond to some sort of information here on the right. Now, it's really not that important for me to understand what this information here is on the right. I just know that by having changed that setting in Outlook, well, if I capture that into a group policy preference, well, then I can deploy that out to other people in my organization. Let's just be aware that this is the location where those settings are kept. Let me bring back up that group policy preference, and then this time I'm going to create a new registry item in HK Current User, and I'm going to navigate to the key path, HK Current User, Software, Microsoft, Outlook, or excuse me, Office, there it is, Office, 14.0, Common, and then finally Mail Settings. Now you'll see here, this is just another view of the registry. And in fact, here is my new theme, Quad 011, the Text Font Complex and Text Font Simple. If I want, I can click New Theme here and choose Select, and you can see that it populates this new registry item with all the information that I need. If I hit OK, well, that completes adding that group policy preference. Do this 2 more times for the 2 other settings that I'm looking for, and now I have the ability to enforce Outlook 2010 settings onto all the users in my organization.